Welcome to the Career Jitsu Podcast, where we connect the art of Jiu-Jitsu with your career. Our mission is to empower and inspire you with engaging conversations and valuable insights from people just like you who benefit from the shared relationship between your workplace and the art of Jiu-Jitsu, leading you to a more fulfilling and successful life.
We are your hosts, Jason Patterson and Frank D'Amelio, and we are thrilled to have you here with us today. Frank, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here on our first podcast and very excited to have Alec with us, who used to be my student at Shepherd Hill and now is an elite NFL athlete. And I think it's going to be great because there's so many things that connect jujitsu, sports, and life. And one of those things is resiliency. And Alec, in your career, I mean, you've done amazing things all the way from high school through BC to the NFL. One of the questions I think our listeners want to know is how do you deal? What's your mindset in dealing with when you have a bad day, when you go out and you don't perform to your expectations, and you go home and you're thinking, what happened today? And you kind of get in a funk. How do you deal with that? What's your mindset and what's your strategy for resiliency?
Right. First, I want to say thank you for having me. This is awesome. But I think the main thing with that is just, it's kind of like an obsession to me, no matter what I do, whether it's on the field. Like, let's say I have a bad performance, I have a bad game. I go home and I can't sleep about it. So I'm obsessed with it, thinking about it. Like, I have to get back out there. Like, I have to go practice, like I can't wait till practice the next day or 2 days later where I can go and I can fix that and show like, that's not who I was. So I get obsessed with it, but I don't let it consume me. It's also, hey, that's done and over with. I got it out of me. Now it's the next thing. And that's not just with football. You go and you might have a bad day. You might have said something, like, oh, I don't, and then you think about it and it kind of bugs you. And you're like, I need to make this right. So whether it's football or whatever, I need to make this right. And a big thing too is in football, we talk a lot about adversity. How are you going to handle adversity? How are you going to face adversity? Are you going to run away from it? Are you going to run right at it? What are you going to do? What are you going to do to push through the adversity? Because no matter what you do and who you are, you have adversity in your life. And I think that's the biggest thing. I know with me, I dealt with 2 really bad back injuries 2 years in a row. And that kind of set me back. As an athlete, you have to be healthy. You have to perform. You have to be out there, especially in the NFL. You get paid to do that. If you're hurt, you're not doing that. That's hurting you. They're bringing other people in. So I think the biggest thing with that is just like, what am I going to do? I can sit there. I can be sad about it. I can be pissed about it. Like, why am I getting hurt? Why does this keep happening? Which you do, but you can't let that consume you. So I'm sitting there, I'm hurt. I'm like, what can I do? Not what can I do?
Right.
Okay, I can lay on the floor and I can stretch. Okay, now I'm able to get up and I can stretch. Now I'm able to move a little bit. Now I can jog. Now I can run. What can I do to keep going? What I can do, not what I can't do.
And incremental improvement is
Right.
on the margin,
Right. And
one step at a time.
and then going back and same thing, like I said, like when you have a bad game, I can't wait to get out there and show them what I can do. I'm hurt. I can't wait to go in the next day and say like, hey, look, now I can do this. I can do this. I'm getting better, showing them I'm committed to this process. I'm fighting the adversity. Nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody wants to have a bad game. Nobody wants to have a bad day. Nobody wants to say something they don't want to say. So it's just kind of, what can I do? And then having it be obsessed with it, but not in a bad way, not taking the negative. There's a great thing we say in football. It's talking about staying in the neutral. 5% of the time you're going to be negative. Something bad happens. You have a bad play. You throw an interception. It's 5% of the time you're like sad. Like, why is this guy doing this? And about 10% of the time you want to be in the positive. So you have a touchdown. You're like, oh, this is awesome. Going crazy. Like, this is great. We're great. We're great. We're great. And then the rest of it, that 85%, you want to be in the neutral. You want to have that not too high, not too low. You just want to be in the moment, be in the neutral and just go and just take it as it comes. And I think that's what's biggest. So you have a big play, you're happy, but you got to get right back into the neutral. You don't want to get too confident. You have a bad play, you want to get right back into the neutral. You don't want to be too negative.
Like that. That's very stoic philosophy.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, it really is. I think in Japanese martial arts in particular, there's a saying called mushin, and mushin means no mind. So it means you have a neutral mind and you're ready for anything,
Right.
anything to come your way,
Right.
whether it's good or bad. If it's bad, you make an adjustment. If it's
Right.
good, you keep doing it,
Right. Exactly. And that allows you to also, when things are going good, sometimes you minimize what's bad. Like if a team is winning a bunch, you're like, oh, well, this is bad, but we're still winning. Or if you're losing a bunch, you focus too much on the bad and not on, like this is positive. So then that's where people get caught in trouble. Like, oh, things are going great, not paying attention to what some things they may do bad. So that neutral is great. So you're like, you know what, we can pick this up, but just being ready for whatever, being able to get better. And obviously humans have emotions and you bounce back and forth, but it's working and it's really like an exercise, getting back into that neutral mindset. It's something you have to work and make it become a habit.
Yeah, it's great to hear that mindset, Frank, because we talk about this in jujitsu a lot when we're on the mats with each other, and we get in a bad position or we did a technique incorrectly, and someone exploits it, and then we sit there and go, "Oh crap, what happened?" And we need to make an adjustment somehow. And having that mindset to make that adjustment is so important too.
To stay in the
So,
neutral and not panic.
So, Alec, you trained jujitsu for a little while with
Yeah.
us. So, how can can you give us a little bit of feedback in terms of like how, you can relate like the
Mhm.
art of like grappling, and
Right.
because you also wrestled in high school
Right.
too. So you have some grappling experience. So, in your experience with grappling, how has that interrelated with football?
Mhm. I think one of the biggest things is just you learn how your body works. I think wrestling from a young age and then doing jujitsu in high school and even now, it teaches you how your body works, what your body can and can't do, the flexibility of your body, what you might have to work on. Like, oh, my hips are really tight. Like, what things you can work on, and that allows you to work on it. Jitsu and everything, you're working with your body, you're grappling, your joints, your ligaments, everything is moving. It's all
The body
flexibility.
mechanics.
Right, exactly. How your body works. And then that's more of a general thing, but then more specific to what I do, I play offensive line, so I'm blocking guys. How can I keep you away from the quarterback? How can I block you? How can I move you? And then in jiu-jitsu, it's how can I work my body and move your body to where I can get my arm bar, my leg lock, the choke. So it's learning how to keep people off you, like the body movement, how to use your body against others in that way. For me, it's more specific. I'm actually blocking and hand fighting and grappling with another human being. How can I have inside hands or whatever to control someone? Same as in any sort of grappling, same thing. How can I control this person? What can I use? Like I know their body moves like this, so I'm gonna do this to get them on the ground, to take their back, to in football to block this guy. I know if he gets my arm, he can turn himself and get around me. How can I use that to stay in front of him? How can I use my body and the way he moves to snap him down, to move him, to use my leverage to turn him out of the way?
It's
So
amazing how much vocabulary you
right,
can use
Yeah.
that's the same, right?
right,
So,
Down,
right.
turn his body.
And understanding the human body, like you said, and the biomechanics of the body can,
mhm,
can kind of help you with both,
right,
sports. So that's the physical concept that you can make the
right,
connection with. Now, how about the mental and emotional side of it? Like
right,
I know that, there's times where I've been in bad positions with some guy that's
right,
300 pounds on top of me
right,
in jujitsu. I'm in bottom side control and
right.
I'm trying to find space to move. And I have to try to relax and I have to try to keep my composure mentally and emotionally to get through that situation. So how has grappling and football helped you
Right.
emotionally and mentally?
Right. Yeah. I think the biggest thing too is going back to that point of staying in the neutral. You're in a bad position. You get the 300-pound guy on you, or in my case, I got a 350-pound guy on me. Just using that neutrality, and then also trusting your training, trusting your technique. Just hammer your training, hammer your technique. You're in that bad position now. As I'm in that position, and the guy's sweating on me, he's beat me down. We're fighting. How can I think and use my my brain like just comes naturally, like, oh, I have to do this. Like, for example, I know it just happens naturally. If I'm blocking a guy and I go to punch him and he swipes my hand, it's just I've trained it so much and I just trust my training, trust my technique. It's just natural where he swipes my hand, it comes right back up. So same thing where in any sort of movement, somebody does something to you, it just naturally just happens because it's such a habit and such a technique. And then your mindset wise, you're able to just be you're okay because you've done it so much, you can stay in that position and it can you just trust what's going to happen just because you've done it so much. You've practiced. Hey, I'm in the worst position possible. I've practiced this. I can get out of this. I know I can. I can. I don't freak out because I feel like when you panic or freak out, you're like, man, why can I? This guy's killing me. I can't do anything. That's when you start getting in trouble rather than just
Wow.
trusting it.
Yeah, definitely there's a converse relationship between anger and lack of skill. People who have a lack of skill are much more likely to be angered when they're
See
situation.
red. The
Yeah.
whole I see red
Right.
as, which is not a power.
No,
No.
no, and if anything, if you're angry or the seeing red or whatever, like, oh, I just black out. I don't know. You can't think.
Right.
You don't have control of your body. You don't have control of your emotions. Also, you're tiring yourself out. If you're not calm and moving in the sense, obviously any exercise is tiring. But if you're just like trying to muscle it out or you're angry, so you're like going crazy, you tire out way quicker. Like football, the game is an hour. It's quarters. You have to, and then really in time it takes 3 hours. You have to be, if you're all hyped up and angry and like, oh, I see red the whole time. It's like, well, you're gonna be dead after the first
You might
game,
have
and I'm gonna
one
take
good
control.
play
Right.
of blasting through somebody,
Right.
but you're
And
not
I'm
gonna,
gonna take control and I'm just gonna dominate you the rest of the time because I know you're tired.
because once you're tired, you're done.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
So do you like to get inside people's heads sometimes?
Do you trash talk? That's one difference because in jiu-jitsu, most people don't, unless they're friends.
Yeah.
Like I'll trash talk. I
So-
trash talk only my friends.
I usually don't because everybody's just so like at this level, everybody is an animal. Like everybody's tough. Everybody's in it. So I usually don't because usually sometimes when you poke the bear, sometimes you get what you don't want. Guys
Okay.
can. But if somebody's giving it to me or trying to like kind of get a little wise with me, I give it right back. Yeah, you got to, and then
Use your words of the day that you learned
or
in high school.
or if I get somebody good, I usually let them know. Take block the guy, let them know, and usually they know too.
And they're like,
That's
yeah,
just the
good
game.
hit.
Everybody
Yeah.
gets everybody. That's just a game. But no, I try not to. One mostly so for my stamina. I don't want to get as tired. It takes
Right.
mental effort and physical effort to think of trash talk. But if somebody's wants to get wordy, I can get wordy too. I usually am more the defender of it.
Right.
Yeah. So, like the anger and lack of skill
Mhm.
concept, right, that we talked about. Now, the opposite of that would be, staying composed, is, proportionate with your skill. So, like you said, you mentioned about trusting in your training. So when
Yep.
you're in a bad position or
Yep.
something's not going right, you really have to trust in your skill and training.
Right.
And so when you are able to like turn to that skill and that
Right.
training, that really helps you to stay composed. Is
Mhm.
that correct?
Yeah, no, that's the biggest thing. I mean, in football, we have individual period, which is basically you work on your individual position. And that's the technique is the biggest thing. Like it's all great. Like I was talking earlier if everything's great, it's great. Like what are you going to do when it's bad? Things are going to go bad. So when we're working on these trainings, you start like, okay, this is the technique. Okay, this is how it should feel. This is great. Okay, now you're in a bad position. Now use the technique. A guy gets into your chest. He has your chest. Your hands are outside. Now you have to work on refitting it or knocking his hand down and getting your hand back in. Just as in jiu-jitsu, you're training a position. You start with, okay, this is the position. Here it is. Okay, now you start in the good position. Now go from there. Work from there. Okay, now you're in a neutral position. Start from there and try to get into the good position. Okay, now you're in the bad position. Get to it. Now you're in the worst position, get to it. If you train in those negative situations or train in the adversity, whatever you want to call it, then it becomes natural. So when it's going good, it's great. And it's just,
Right.
you're in that flow state. But when it's bad, that's okay. You've been there before. It's not the first time you've been there. Now you don't start when you're learning a technique or learning anything. You don't start, okay, you're in the worst possible situation.
Right.
Because then you don't know. You train it. And then as you get, it's like second nature. Step 2 is second nature. Okay, now you're in step 10, the worst possible situation. That's how you get better. You're never going to be in the worst situation, but you have to prepare for it.
And Jason, that's something you talk about in jiu-jitsu all the time. Like, for example, if you're grappling with somebody who might be not at your level, you can always put yourself in a bad position and see how you can work out of it. So a lot of times in jiu-jitsu, if there's a mismatch in levels, the other person will purposefully let themselves get into a bad position and try to work out of it if they're trying to work their defenses and things like
Right.
that.
And it's the same with football.
Yeah.
In practice, the only way you can get better is if you try stuff. That's why you have practice. That's why you have time. Like if I want to do a new technique that I think can help me, I'm not going to go out on national television and then try the new technique and I get embarrassed. You got to try it in practice and you got to get comfortable with it. But you have to be okay to you have to be okay
to fail.
It's okay. Like, hey, I'm trying this new technique. I did it. This guy beat me. Okay. Like, okay. I didn't it's not on national TV. The guy's not getting sacked and everyone's like, oh, who is this guy? This guy stinks,
Right.
It's, you go to practice, you train it in individual, you train it on your own, you train it in a team period, you train it in one-on-one pass rush, in whatever situation you're in, you train it so then you feel comfortable. Okay, I'm facing this guy. I know you're good. So I'm going to do my main techniques, and then every once in a while, throw a little wrinkle in, and it confuses them. Then the guy's like, "Oh, now I got to be aware of this," and then I go back to my stuff and then throw it in again, and same thing. So
Yeah, I think I've heard, over the years, I've heard, at one point, I can't remember when it was, but how even if you are very skilled and even if you are really good at something, you should be failing at least 15 to 20% of the time.
Yeah.
And if you're not, you're not.
Right, and that helps you grow. And I think it was Lou Holtz, the Notre Dame coach, that said, "You're never I forget it exactly, but he's like, it's like a tree. You're never staying the same. You're either growing or you're dying. You're either getting better, or you're not. You never stay the same."
Very hard to hover.
Right. So even if it's a gradual 1%, you're either getting better or you're not. It's never okay. If I did something, if I just sat down and ate chips all day, I got worse. I didn't. It's not like I stayed the same. You may feel the same, but at some percentage wise, you did get worse. And then same thing. I mean, you're a black belt with everything. You still get caught in bad positions. You can still get better, no matter if you're at the pinnacle. You're at the top of the mountain. You can always get better and keep getting better. Now it may be just a slight bit, but
Well, that brings it all the way back to Jiu-Jitsu's philosophy of 1% better every time, just 1%. Incremental growth. Hey, everybody, it's tap in time where we tap in to your thoughts. So in this episode, we'd love to hear from you about how you connect what Alex Lindstrom is saying to your life. And we're looking to reach out to other BJJ practitioners who do BJJ and also have a sport or an exercise that they practice on the side. Do you see some similarities in your experience to what Alec Lindstrom is talking about? We'd love to hear from you. Drop a couple of comments, and we look forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so we touched upon the physical side, the mental and emotional side. How about the social side?
Yeah.
As a professional athlete, do you struggle or how do you handle social situations, social settings?
I think sports in general is so good for social structure. That's where you meet friends. You go to the gym, and that's where the classmate, you meet friends, make friends. In college, for example, they're my teammates, but they're my best friends in life. That's how you meet these people, and you become friends. You do stuff, and that's how you do it. So it's such a great thing to be social. Let's say you're in a situation, you're not doing much. You're like, man, I don't talk to people much. I don't do this. Go take a class in anything really. And you go and you meet people, and you're like, these people want to teach me. They want to be around me. Like when kids come up to me and ask me about football, I love teaching them. I'm sure you love teaching people too. Like you see a new student, it's like someone that's looking for an opportunity to grow. It's great for meeting people and meeting friends, but also it teaches you great habits no matter what you do. Being punctual, being on time. Like, hey, class starts at 7, get here at 6:45. And we start at 7. It's not walk in at 7. So that some of the life lessons you learn, like if I go to work and I show up late, in football, you get fined, you get fired, you get all this stuff. You go to, no matter what you do, you're late. People are pissed, like we start at 7. It's not, hey, you walk in at 7:01 and like I am so punctual there. Like something starts at 7, I'm there at 6:30, it's just like the habits it teaches you, the camaraderie, like it teaches you, it makes friends, but it also teaches you stuff like fighting through adversity. If you've never been in an adverse situation, sports teach you that. Let's say you're at the job, somebody bails, and now you have to do their work. Well, you've been there, Right. I've been there in football where we're doing a workout and my guy, he happened to give out. So I got to give an extra 5%. So it's the same thing in work. You get given that. It's all connects, the life habits and everything, like fighting through adversity, punctuality, being a good teammate, being a good coworker, being a good person. This is all stuff you learn through sports. I think it's some of the greatest things that you can do. And even if it's like, I'm bored and I want to meet people, make a friend. you can make friends through jiu-jitsu, through football, through really anything, but you got to go out and you got to challenge yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing is don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Let me go out and try it rather than just thinking about it. Like if I go and I hate it and I go again, I hate it. I go again, I hate it. Okay, maybe it's not for me. Let me try this. I go and I love it, and that's where you meet people and that's where you get the community. And that's what I think it is. Like football is a family. Jiu-jitsu is a family, you do stuff together. You like holidays, you're with each other. And that's what I think the big thing is. And then you learn the habits of being punctual, being a good person, fighting through adversity, but also you find, it feels good to physically beat someone up and win at what you have to do, but it also feels good to have a friend and have an emotional and social connection with people.
Absolutely. That is so well said.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have so many people in the dojo that are people who we have created lifelong friendships with. Oh, Frank,
Yeah.
I really wouldn't have even met you. How long we have been training together, 5 or
Right.
6 years,
Yeah.
but I'll be friends with you for the rest of your
That's
life. Yeah, and it's easy times versus hard times. I think people that you meet and you experience life with,
Right.
and you have easy times with them,
Mhm.
you, you don't really have as strong of a relationship with them.
Exactly.
The people you fought through things with, the people that you
Exactly.
had hard times with, are the
Mhm.
ones that last the longest.
right. That's right.
And
It was just all good times, brotherhood. And the thing you said about so you can go anywhere. When I went to Madrid, I took jujitsu there, and I
Yeah.
had instant
Yeah.
group of great people who
Yeah.
shared the same philosophy, and I had instant plug and play
Right.
people to go out with
Mhm.
right off. Absolutely.
So, Frank, let's connect this last phase to this interview, Alec, is to kind of connect all these things to life. We talked a little bit about the mental and the physical and the social concepts of jujitsu and football. So, how about these lessons that we've learned in jujitsu and
Right.
football? How do they apply for you in life?
Pay it forward. Wow, a lot of philosophy, very inspirational.
Thank you.
Our first podcast, we were just kind of trying to check this out. But this is like great philosophy that you gave us. This has to go out.
Yeah.
I love a lot of the things you said. I love the way you talked about the fine balance between having a healthy obsession
Mm.
and not being consumed. I thought
Right.
that was great. I love the neutrality, Mushin kind of connection there. I thought that was awesome. What you said about being okay with failing and growing and when to try new things and when not to try
Right.
new things, trusting your technique and applying all the things that you've learned both socially and in your life.
Mhm.
This has been a great, like you've really encapsulated. Thank you so much. You're so well spoken too.
Thank you.
Great guy.
Thank you.
Yeah. You
Appreciate
must have good high school teachers.
Yeah.
For
that.
those of you who don't know, our listeners, if you don't know, Frank is a high school teacher, and he actually had Alec as a student in high school. So,
Yeah.
so they know each other.
He was a
way
great
back.
kid to teach. Awesome.
Okay, Alec, thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for your
much.
time.
Well, there you have it. As we wrap up today's episode, let's take a moment to reflect on the powerful connections we've explored between the art of jiu-jitsu and your career. In your workplace and in jiu-jitsu, you learn to adapt and navigate challenges. So remember that persistence and the courage to embrace the lessons that you learn are the keys to your growth, both on the mat and in your career.